A week and a couple of days ago, I posted a video about what I would do with DC if I was in charge, and one of my viewers, Sacred Saturn, ended up asking me a question on what I would like to make a DC film on, or what I would like to see adapted into film from a DC previous past project. This is a question that comes with a ton of possibilities. There are so many DC projects I would love to see adapted into the big screen. There are so many good and rich stories that have been told in comic books that it would be so awesome for general audiences to see. And the best thing about making film is you can adapt certain comic books and storylines all while making different decisions of your own, maybe going in directions that you thought yourself it was better than what they did in the comic book, or fixing things that will maybe look better on screen than it actually does in the comic book, because some things just don't work the way they work on panel pages to the big screen. So there are a lot of projects I would love to do, but for some reason there is always this one. For some reason this is something I would love to see in live action more than a lot of other stories DC has had. I want a live action Assault on Arkham movie. Previously I have stated the Suicide Squad is not a money maker for DC. And why we keep getting Suicide Squad content, I don't know. As a DC fan, I'm over the Suicide Squad. I think a lot of fans are over that group as well. And it just does not attract to general audiences as much as it originally did in 2016. So why do I want a Suicide Squad-esque type of a movie, even though I don't believe in them or even really want to see them much anymore? Because it involves Batman. And because the Assault on Arkham story was proven to work by fans. And even if you say, well, it's proven to work by fans, it's not proven to work by the general audience. If you have a strong feature of Batman, it will work with the general audience. If I'm being completely honest with you, and this is something else I've also said before, David Ayer's Suicide Squad should have simply just been the Assault on Arkham movie. Instead, it wasn't, and we all know what we ended up getting. And granted, the movie we got in theaters and the movie you can buy on Blu-ray today is not David Ayer's movie. Warner Brothers absolutely screwed him over in what his initial vision was. I don't know if David Ayer's full version of his movie would have been extremely better than what we did get, but what I do know is I would be interested in watching it, and I can't imagine it would be worse than the theatrical version. Also, too, something he clearly wanted to do in that movie, which was just stripped away from not just him, but us, the audience, is he wanted to put a focus on Harley Quinn and the Joker. And who are two main pieces of Assault on Arkham? Harley Quinn and the Joker. If the Suicide Squad is not as popular as I believe them not to be, Batman brings in an interest no matter what you do. Then you're bringing in Harley Quinn and Joker, not just as 2, 3, 4-minute pieces. You're bringing them as main characters that help drive the story forward. When I think about the Assault on Arkham movie, I do imagine it being with Ben Affleck's Batman, because I feel like that would have been a specific story that is so perfectly driven to Ben Affleck's style of Batman and that DCEU or Zack Snyderverse world. Regardless, it doesn't need to be connected to Snyder's world. The way I do imagine it is just like the animated cartoon where Amanda Waller is sending the team into Arkham Asylum and they're trying to extract information from Riddler. As they're inside Arkham, Batman is slowly hunting them down one by one. Although I would make some adjustments to the story. Instead of Riddler, I would actually use Lex Luthor. I would have Batman transfer Lex Luthor from Stryker's Island and bring him over to Arkham Asylum, and that way Batman can keep an eye on him. Maybe Lex Luthor has information with an oncoming alien assault, maybe from Brainiac, Darkseid, whoever. Amanda Waller would want this data, and she would band together about 6 villains, put the chip in their brain, send them off to Arkham Asylum for incarceration, and as they're in there, they have to escape from their cells, grab their weaponry, and make their way to Lex Luthor, extract Luthor from the asylum, but of course, as they're doing it, Batman is hunting them because he already knows something is off. You could feature the cast from the animated movie, which had Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Boomerang, Black Spider, King Shark, Killer Frost. You could change some of the members if you wanted. Katana, Killer Croc, Bronze Tiger, Vertigo, whoever you want part of the crew is fine. So as this Suicide Squad makes their way through Arkham to try to get to a heavily secured Lex Luthor, and Lex already knows this. He already has this idea that Waller is coming for him. Batman gets in the way to start taking them down one by one, but the way I would feature Batman, at least in the beginning, is almost as a horrific villain character. Somebody who is lurking in the shadows and terrorizing the squad. He's almost doing things that make the squad think, this is a figment of my imagination. There is no way what he's doing right now is real. And that could simply be the movie. Batman just has to stop the squad, which about halfway through the film, you'll start to see more scenes with him, and you'll even get a lot more dialogue from Batman himself, which by the end of the movie, he will get reverted into the hero while the squad is the villain. And then you could always do the same situation as the film where Joker ends up breaking out and he basically becomes the full-on villain. But then I thought of something else. I thought of something a little more chaotic. What if, while they're in the asylum and Batman is giving the squad an extremely hard time, Waller already had her own backup plan. She always had this idea that the squad wasn't necessarily going to make it through Batman if Batman ended up showing up. So knowing that was always a potential, why not come prepared with a plan B? She sends in Deathstroke to get into the asylum to get to Lex Luthor. There are so many things you could do with something like this. Deathstroke could easily sneak past Batman and the squad, get Lex Luthor out, and now Batman actually needs to find a way to save the squad from getting their heads blown up. Another thing you could do is the squad ends up finding out about Deathstroke, and now it's become a race. The squad needs to get to Luthor before Deathstroke, because essentially Amanda Waller has said, either you get to Luthor first and you save your own skin, or Deathstroke gets to Luthor, I get what I need, and I kill you all by flipping the switch. While there's chaos inside of the asylum, Deathstroke could let Joker out to distract Batman and the squad from whatever Deathstroke has to do. Or you know how Joker usually is, he always has his own plan of breaking out. Let's be honest here, Joker would start connecting the dots. Batman is here. Deathstroke is here. My old fling Harley Quinn is here. There's a bunch of other villains that just got signed into the asylum today. Oh, and who's at the heart of the asylum? Lex Luthor. Yeah, I want to get out of here and see what's going on and throw myself in the mix of things. I think what would be really interesting is while Batman is trying to deal with the squad, picking them off one by one, maybe he's already taken down 2 of the 6. All of a sudden, Deathstroke enters the picture. And remember that warehouse scene in the Assault on Arkham movie where Batman makes himself known to the squad and tries to take them out one by one, and there's that huge action sequence. You could do something set up like that and maybe have some long shots or some panning shots. You could have Batman and Deathstroke having this epic fight of a lifetime while the Suicide Squad tries to like sneak their way through their fight. While Batman fights Deathstroke, you could have Joker mess with the squad. He doesn't care about everyone else on the squad. He primarily cares about Harley Quinn, and the fact that she's doing something without him would get him angry. He wants to be involved too, so he would do everything in his power to ruin things for them. And basically, to end off this film, keeping it similar and changing certain things, of course, I think what I would do is, while Deathstroke and Lex Luthor are escaping, Joker obviously foils that plan, and for a time being, Batman and Deadshot actually team up with one another to kind of get things under control. Deadshot realizes, if I don't get Luthor myself, I'm gonna have skull soup. Batman needs to get rid of Deathstroke, he needs to get Luthor back into custody, and he needs to get Joker back in his cell. And the details are sparse from here. Maybe Luthor does get to Waller, or maybe Luthor escapes and, you know, goes back to an underground LexCorp facility and restarts his empire, whatever. I don't know. The point is, that is a movie I would love to see in live action. Those are some of the ideas I would have for the movie, and those are some of the changes I would also make within the film. So guys, let me know in the comments below, would you like to see a live action Assault on Arkham? Would you like to see some of my ideas come into fruition? And what are some DC movies you would like to see, whether they be your own original idea or if they are previous ideas from comic books or animation? But that is all I have for you on this one, everyone. So until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.